Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Lisa, and I'm here to share a couple of devotionals with all of you. The first one is titled Walking on Coals. An amazing fact. Fire walking is the act of walking barefoot over a bed of hot coals or stones. It has been used as a rite of passage to test a person's strength, courage, or faith. Some believe it requires supernatural power, but modern physics has debunked this idea. Can a person walk barefoot over hot coals and not burn their feet? It depends. Several factors are involved. First, the length of time the foot is in contact with coals is usually not enough to induce a burn. Some try to run through the coals but are burned because the coals are pressed hard against their feet. Second, coals are not very good conductors of heat. If a person walked through hot coals and stepped on a piece of metal, his or her feet would burn. Another factor is that coals reach their flash point, hottest temperature, and then begin to cool down. So you must choose carefully when to walk through the fire. But it's not really a good idea to walk through a bed of hot coals. You will probably burn your feet. It is not a matter of supernatural power, though the devil can do lots of tricks. It is just not a smart thing to do. And that's the point Solomon is making when he writes, "Can a man take fire to his bosom, and his clothes not be burned? Can one walk on hot coals, and his feet not be seared?" Proverbs 6, verses 27 and 28. It's a rhetorical question intended to get the answer, "Of course not." That is what the wise man teaches about the person who thinks adultery is something that is innocent and will not hurt you. Whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks understanding. He who does so destroys his own soul. And that's in verse 32. Will breaking the seventh commandment leave you unscathed? Of course not. Be wise and do not go down the senseless and destructive path of sexual sin. It is driven by a passion that will burn and destroy you forever. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Hebrews 13, verse 4. And that's the end of the first devotional, and the second one is titled, All We Like Sheep. An amazing fact. In July 2005, Turkish shepherds, while they ate breakfast, watched in stunned and helpless silence as their entire flock of 1,500 sheep followed each other one by one over a cliff. In all, only 450 sheep died, the later ones being cushioned by the earlier ones. Sheep have a strong instinct to follow the one in front of them without thinking. Also, if a sheep gets tipped over and ends up on its back, it often cannot get back on its feet. Because of these and other strange tendencies, many people have assumed that sheep are dumb animals. However, sheep are very intelligent. They can recognize more than 50 other sheep's faces for up to 2 years. A study in the journal Nature suggests they might be nearly as good as people at distinguishing faces in a crowd. You might be wondering how a sheep gets stuck when it tips over. Interestingly, it is usually the sheep that are fat or laden with a heavy coat of wool that get stuck. A sheep might lie down in a comfortable little hollow after eating, roll on its side, and stretch out to get a little more comfortable. If it's a large sheep, its feet will be unable to reach the ground. The sheep then panics and flails its feet around, which often makes it flip over on its back. In this position, the sheep is likely to die if the shepherd does not find it soon. Luke 15 tells us that Jesus takes notice of the missing sheep and leaves the 99 safe ones to go and find the one that has gotten itself into trouble. Notice that it is the fat, extra woolly sheep that usually gets into trouble. Let us learn the lesson. When things appear to be going well and we are getting comfortable, this is the time of greatest danger. A loving shepherd often directs his sheep to less comfortable places in order to keep them safe. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, in not keeping his commandments, and his judgments, and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. Deuteronomy 8, verses 10 through 14. And that is the end of the devotionals. I pray you all have a beautiful day in the Lord. God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you either next video or in the air. Bye-bye.